from Airbourne, and you're watching PureGrainAudio. When we recorded this one, we recorded with Bob Marlett, who we did Run Wild with. He did capture a good live sense of the band on that record, so to pick things up where we did last on that one, about what, 2 records later, fourth record, was great. And flew him out to Australia. Had Mike Fraser, who's the world-renowned engineer, probably the best in the world, and just knuckled down and got the live sound done. It is a bit tough at times. You've got to, it's a bit, you don't have the crowd there, you don't have the live audience and all that. So, but you just get the boys in a room and just start rocking as hard as you can, and you do visualise yourself being on stage when you're making the songs and stuff like that. But it is important to have fun when you're making records, because it translates through the record. Bob Marlett made a very good point of it, is you can hear when a band has had fun making an album, because it just somehow translates through on the best records. So if it's a bit of a nightmare, sometimes you can sort of hear that. And we definitely had a ball. We had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. We all had dinner together every night, and we'd just continuously talk about the record, and it was just for what was it, 2 months? 2 months. It was just 100% about the album. Well, I'm currently on a two-day hangover. Ever since I hit 30, it's not doing too well.
Doesn't get any easier, trust me.
Yeah, coffee, and I'll be right. It's really hard to remember stories when every day's, we've been doing this now, this run for 5 months or so, flat chat. It's almost like it's just a life. If something does come to my mind though, there's always stuff that goes on. Joel ripped the ligaments off his ankle in Kamloops in Canada, which was interesting. South America, I know China, and that's actually opening up now. They've been getting quite a few gigs over there. India would be nice. We almost played there with Maiden, but it didn't come through. We've played Japan once. I'd like to get back there again, but there's a lot of places a lot more markets are opening up now around the world. Well, if you like Metallica, you'll like Desecrator, which I've got.
Well, the name's just sold me already, so.
That's the kind of, you might not be able to tell, that's the logo there, Desecrator.
Okay.
Another band's coming over we're going to tour with is Palace of the King. They're more of a blues rock band. Another one that has been touring and will be touring is Dead City Ruins. Yeah, so there's a few. Yeah, we just did Volbeat in Europe, and those venues was pretty much between 10 to 16,000 every night. We did about 20 of them. In some of the shows, Joel would say, hands up if this is your first Airbourne show. And it was about 50-50, which was really great, because it means we were able to go out and get a bunch of new fans on that tour. Well, it didn't look very good. He sort of fell, and you could see it kind of when it got caught in between the bass bins, his ankle, and yeah, did quite a bit of damage. He finished the set though. A couple of the crew guys held him up. He finished it, and then he just sort of hobbled off stage. But and then I luckily, between the records, I fractured my fibula. And I was probably intoxicated when I did that, but I was still at the pub about the night after I did it. I thought I'd sprained it, obviously. But anyway, I had a bunch of Panadine Ford on me, which is, I think it's codeine mix or something else. But so I'd actually brought that over in case I re-injured my ankle. So luckily I had a bunch of it, and I gave it to him. So he was able to play shows the next night. We just strapped it up. He was in a lot of pain. Like he could pretty much barely walk, but we just didn't want to cancel the show, so we just kept it going. Luckily, touch wood, no, not yet. We played Poland. I think it was called Woodstock. The whole festival total was about 1 million people apparently. and at the front of the stage they had a huge sort of metal wall with a pole on top that had grease all over it. It looked like, I think, axle grease or something like that, the whole thing. It looked like something out of somewhere between 28 Days Later. People just trying to jump up, and you could just see hands constantly trying to grab the top pole, which was all greased, and then no one could hang on.
Right.
But they must have been, they just must try and get on stage as much as they can, but they couldn't, and they just kept sliding down. And then a fire truck drove through the middle of the crowd spraying everybody, which was interesting as well. So probably the craziest gig was that one.